Wow, well, thank you very much, Paul. I'm honored. I'm honored. I'm also quite moved. I feel a tremendous kinship with many of you. I'm the first in my family to go to university, the first to get a degree. And Paul and I have spoken about that quite a bit. I didn't intend to make comments off the cuff. I'm actually going to read to you from a text. But I did want to say to Father Collard, I did want to say that I hope you don't manage to persuade those clouds to go away, because clouds and rain make me, as a British person, feel very much at home. Let me tell you to follow your dreams. Let me tell you to listen to your heart and be true to yourself. Let me tell you that the only thing standing between you and what you want from life is hard work. In short, let me tell you tired platitudes that mean little more than have a nice day. The truth is, the life ahead of you will not be easy. Not if you mean it to be a well-lived life. For many of us, it begins in hardship. When I arrived in London, England, as a child, we were squatters in 2 rooms in the basement of a derelict building. There was the bedroom and the kitchen. But I can only recall one half of the kitchen, because whenever I went in there, I kept my gaze away from the other half, where the rats were. When we were moved into the projects, we felt we were living like kings. There was a bath and running hot water. But my early struggles pale against the challenges I know many of you have faced to get to this very point. Among you are veterans who have given noble service to this country in circumstances I can only imagine. Among us today is Carlos Castillo, who served 18 years as a Marine. Carlos came to school to learn. Carlos, there you are. Please stand up. Carlos came to school to learn and to gain an MBA and expand his career options. He wanted, he said, to better himself for the sake of his 3 kids and be a role model to encourage them to get an education as well. Others of you have raised families or held down 2 or more jobs while working to acquire knowledge and skills. Naomi Cage took a break from her master's in healthcare management to have her son Xavier. Naomi, are you out there? Is Naomi there? Oh, we should have done our research. He is now a 1-year-old. Carlos and Naomi may not know it, but they aren't just role models for their children. They are role models for all of us. Southern New Hampshire University is rightly proud of the impact it makes on the lives of people who have had to fight harder than most to earn that great prize, an education. I often remember a line from a hymn I sang in the school I attended as a boy. You know, I planned to sing this line, but after hearing Amanda, I just can't bring myself to do so. Father, hear the prayer we offer. Not for ease that prayer shall be, but for strength, that we may ever live our lives courageously. Let me tell you that a fight awaits you, a fight that will test your courage and demand your intelligence, a fight passed on from generation to generation. a fight that is the very definition of who we are. It pits our hope to do better, to be moved by the better angels of our nature. It pits these collective aspirations against our own dark, self-destructive tendencies, which are also our inheritance as human beings. This is the good fight, the fight to keep alive the light of reason and principle. It shapes your own individual lives, even when sometimes you may not see that the fight is going on all around you. What your time here will have taught you is the value of an educated way of thinking. The good fight requires you to have absorbed the very basis of how you finally got here, to this moment. All your hours of study will have been for naught if you leave with the impression that there is no such thing as a reasoned argument, or that there is no such thing as a fact. And yet you go out into a world where some would have you believe that these are all fake, that scientists are liars and crooks, and that you should put your trust in so-called common sense, something that turns out neither to be held in common nor often to make very much sense. You enter a world that seems once again perilously seduced by the power of mere force. What I am saying is not in the least partisan, but it has everything to do with what it means to be an engaged member of a community of people, which is the heart of the politics that truly matters. Societies across the world seem more divided than ever between each other and within themselves. Whatever your political stripe, it is fair to say that America has not in recent times seemed more divided as a nation. Amid such division, our political leaders ask us for our trust. Trust me, they say, and yet so many of us seem unable to do so. Despite this, it is wrong to think that we face a crisis of trust. We do not. Now, all human beings deserve your respect. To offer respect to the man or woman in front of you is to recognize his or her humanity. It elevates them, it elevates you, it elevates the quality of your engagement with them, whether or not he or she shows you the same respect. But as for trust, he or she must earn that. No one who asks us for his or her vote, or who seeks our endorsement of their political program, is any more entitled to our trust than a business is that seeks our money, or a bank is that would sell us a mortgage. Our trust must be earned. But what has all this got to do with you? The answer is everything. I need to tell you a little story. Years ago, I had a gym membership, and I have to admit it was some years ago. I'd arrive at the building, take the elevator up 6 floors, and do a little cardio before hitting the weights. After a month, some of the faces there became familiar to me. One day, on arriving at the building, I noticed that a guy I recognized from the gym, that he didn't take the elevator, but rather disappeared into the stairwell. Then it struck me. If I took the stairs instead of the elevator, I would get a head start on the cardio. Psychologists talk about domain dependence, our tendency to restrict patterns of thinking to one domain and other patterns of thinking to another domain. I thought of exercise as something I did in the gym. It didn't occur to me I could start before I even got there. If the good fight is fought well, you will do much to begin the restoration of trust. Your education will put you at the forefront of the fight. Yes, education has given you tools for the world of work, but you must not surrender those tools each day when you leave the workplace, as you step into the elevator. You have worked too hard to let only your employer or your colleagues or your business stand as beneficiaries of your educated way of thinking. When your leaders ask you to trust them, ask why. When they tell you that such and such policy will make your town better or your country great, ask them how. Asking questions is the beginning of learning, the beginning of wisdom, and in fact, it is the beginning of rebuilding trust, for it is the quality of the answers we get back that should form the basis of the trust we are willing to place. Not so long ago, a member of the US Senate gave the commencement address here. And he spoke of civic service. Last week, speaking in Milan, Italy, that same man, President Obama of the United States in the intervening years, repeated to a crowd what he had said many times before: we get the elected leaders we deserve. In other words, whatever your political leanings, you have to get involved in your communities. You have to demand answers from your councilwomen and councilmen, from senators and members of Congress, from all your leaders. Yes, they have to make the grade and clear the bar, but it's you who gets to decide how high to set that bar. Hold them to the standard with which you are already familiar, because you had an education, because you read books and studied under professors, and you saw that men and women worked hard and applied their intelligence to try to find answers to difficult questions in all the fields of human inquiry, and you saw that their efforts were subjected to scrutiny and criticism and challenge. Ask questions, demand answers, and do so over and over again, because anyone who seeks to act in your name has no entitlement to blind trust, to your blind trust. You are too important. Your country is too important. Your community is too important. Your future and your children's future are too important for you to hand over your trust. Yes, you will labor day by day to put food on the table and a roof over your heads. You may earn enough to buy a car, secure a mortgage, and go on well-deserved vacations. But if you do not attend to the needs of society, if you ignore the call of citizenship, if you spurn the good fight, then you must ask yourself if you can endure the society you will deserve. The good fight is never fought alone. Champions of reason and principle are everywhere and are of every political hue. They are scarcely even a minority. So you will keep good company, people who will have your backs, because they too want to see a society in which reason and principle and learning and wisdom prevail over obscurantism, stupidity, and open hostility towards the educated way of thinking. You know, I feel truly honored to be here. Education was a turning point for me. It transformed my life because it improved the way I think. And I know that this is and will continue to be the same for you. I congratulate all of you on your much-deserved success. I salute you. You have earned the tools now in your hands. And I am so full of hope for you, for all of us. Because I believe that with those tools, with reason and principle to guide us, we are all ready and eager to live our lives courageously. Thank you.